Welcome to the Kill Shot MMA podcast for UFC 320. We have a rematch for the UFC light heavyweight title. It is, I don't know, some guy from Dagestan whose name ends with a V. And no, it is, in all seriousness, it is Magomedov Ankalaev taking on Alex Pereira. And I think more importantly, we have a matchup for the UFC bantamweight title. It is Merab Dvalishvili defending against Corey Sandhagen. Really good card. A lot of money to be made on DraftKings. Personally, last week didn't have a great week, and yet I look in the DFS Army Discord, and there's all kinds of optimal lineups popping off in there. So tons of optimals and screenshots floating around. Make sure you join DFS Army if you're not in there already. Anybody who watches this as part of our weekly content who gets all the extras, well, welcome. We'll get you started here. More to come throughout the week. Do me a favor, smash the like button. And now that I've got through the intros, we got more time to talk with the man with the greatest beard in DFS MMA. Monk, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Excited for this one. My guy Merab fighting. We got Alex Pereira, Ankalaev. Pretty decent card. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully a lot of finishes too. So let's find the optimal lineup this week. Yeah.
Some more of it. I actually think it's a really straightforward cash build. I think people are going to get too cute this week. So make sure you got that. We'll do a GPP builder. You follow me everywhere and subscribe on YouTube at Sniper Wins. Make sure you get Monk at Monkmatics. That's Monk MMATICS. And now with all the housekeeping out of the way, let's talk some motherfucking fights.
Yeah.
There are, I believe, now again, 13 fights on the card. Or are we back up to 14?
Back up to 14.
Back up to 14. Ateba Gautier, that fight was canceled against Ozzy Diaz. Gautier, as of a few hours ago, because we record these on Tuesdays, he has a new opponent, Treson Vines. We're not going to break that fight down. I didn't watch tape on it, but Gautier is super expensive, and I imagine he, of all the pay-ups, because most of the pay-ups this week fucking suck. The pay-ups are not good this week. That's going to be a theme we are going to talk about. Pretty, outside of a couple, it's a rough scene up there, guys. It's a lot of live dogs, a lot of people where you go, the dog is the better option. Gautier is going to be a high-level play, I would imagine. I'm going to do my due diligence on Treson Vines, but I can't see a world that we're outside of, for me, spoiler alert, Dvalishvili. Outside of him, I don't see how Gautier is not my second favorite play up in that range, maybe on the card. So make sure you get in the DFS Army to get those breakdowns. We'll save that for VIPs, and let's break down the fights. We do have odds and salaries and confirmed opponents for. We got Veronica Hardy and Brogan Walker. Brogan Walker hasn't fought in 2 motherfucking years, and she's here as a plus 475 underdog to Veronica Hardy, who's minus 650. Veronica Hardy, guys, is not a world beater. Let's get that very, very clear. She's good and has improved. Being minus 650, that really should be concerning to Brogan Walker. Fight goes to decision is minus 350. And your DraftKings salaries, that's the last thing I need here. Silly me. DraftKings salaries, Veronica Hardy's 9,600. Ooh, man, get ready for the theme of this card, boys and girls. Brogan Walker, I can't even believe it, is 6,600. Monk, who you got while I go close my office door because I, like an inconsiderate asshole husband, left it open, and I'm talking very loud about fights. Who you got?
I got Veronica Hardy this week. Brogan Walker, I mean, she's looked terrible. Like, obviously, she hasn't fought in 2.5 years, like you said. She is 0-2, losing to Juliana Miller and Yasmin Lucindo.
Killer Miller.
Yeah, Killer Miller. Lucindo fight went to decision. Miller KO'd her, TKO'd her or something in the basically the last minute of their fight. And she got taken down 4 times by Miller, controlled for 10 minutes. And that's exactly what Veronica Hardy did to Juliana Miller. Took her down 4 of 4 times, controlled her for a shitload of time. Brogan Walker's probably not as good as Miller or Jamie Lynn Horth or JJ Aldrich. Or anyone other than probably Bia Malecki, who is, Veronica Hardy's faced much tougher competition overall. I do expect her to win this fight via decision. she's probably not going to score well, guys. 9,600 is fucking crazy. She's 900 over her previous high salary of 87. And yeah, I mean, she's been 68, 77, 82, and 87. So now she's 96. Why wouldn't you just pay up to an extra 200 and get Gautier? Or why wouldn't you save 300 and play Merab? Like, I just don't see it. So yeah, give me, this is not like a Sam Hughes type situation where you're going to pay up, 89, 9K to get her in because she's a freaking dog. I do expect Hardy to win, but she's no Sam Hughes. And yeah, 9,600 is much too expensive to play. So I'm not interested in Brogan Walker pretty much whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm pretty much 100% with you as I play with the StreamYard editing, because why the fuck not?
Yeah.
So look, it's pretty much that simple. It's not one to overcomplicate. We haven't seen Brogan Walker in a while. I'd be jumping out of my chair. Minus 350 to go to decision, and look how fucking cheap she is. Player in cash games.
Right.
Kind of, yeah, she's live. Here's the problem, guys. There's quite a few of these spots on this card. I think you can go other places in terms of live dogs. I do think Veronica Hardy is going to be much better, but not score well. Well, I mix in a little bit of Brogan Walker just in case she's been, I don't know, training with Ludovic Klein or I don't know who else is Paulo Costa. If you get where I'm going, maybe she'll have made drastic improvements, because I believe the last time we saw her, USADA was still a thing. In addition to all kinds of, you never know what kind of improvement someone's going to make. It seems unlikely, but I actually think it's more unlikely that Veronica Hardy scores well in a win. So take that for what you will. I am on the Hardy side, but Walker is still the better DK play, and that's not saying a whole lot. All right, let's go ahead and let's move on to Ramiz Brahimaj and Austin Vanderford, also known as Austin Van Zandt or Mr. Paige Van Zandt. I'm not even throwing shade at the guy. Have you seen what Paige Van Zandt's career has turned into? She is a dirty, dirty girl, and I'm all about it. Yeah, I sound like a creepy old man. Whatever, man. Paige Van Zandt has just embraced what we all thought, and I bet she makes stupid fucking money. Like, say what you want.
Crazy.
She just, and no, I don't subscribe to it. I follow her on Instagram. That's good enough.
Yeah,
because she's out of her damn mind. Anyway, I totally got sidetracked because it's more interesting than this fight, where somehow they found somebody that Austin Vanderford is going to be minus 300 against. That guy's Ramiz Brahimaj, who's plus 250. Fight go to decision is minus 130, so 50-50 here. To see the judges' scorecards, your DraftKings salaries. Vanderford is 9,200. Brahimaj is 7,000. Monk, where are you going for this one?
Yeah, I'm going to pick Austin Vanderford here. I don't know how much I really want to roster him at his salary, but Ramiz Brahimaj is pretty much round one sub or bust. In fact, that's exactly how he's won, I think, all of his fights. Well, in the round one, he did KO TKO Mickey Gall, if that counts for anything. But Goff, Gilmore, and Palatnikov, he all subbed in the very first round. So if Austin Vanderford can pretty much survive the first round, I think he's going to win this fight. Brahimaj has a terrible defense, maybe the worst on the card, other than possibly Brogan Walker. Might be a little bit worse than that. But Vanderford actually looked decent. Better than decent against a pretty low-level competitor who we'll be talking about next in Nikolay Veretennikov.
It was come on. He beat up a mailman.
He did. Well, that mailman's got a second fight in the UFC. So he only landed 5 strikes, Veretennikov, in that whole fight and did nothing else. Like nothing else, not even 1 second of control. So Vanderford pretty much dominated him, then finished him on the ground. Has okay striking defense. The takedown defense looked good, but again, we barely have any stats for him. So I'm just kind of going off the round one sub or bust for Brahimaj. If he doesn't get it, then he's going to lose. And his defense is terrible. His striking is terrible. He's got, he's basically Claudio Puelles for the most part. So give me Vanderford, but Brahimaj, you should probably play just a little bit in GPPs just in case he catches something. Because if he does, he's going to win in the first round and score well.
That's the thing, is Brahimaj feels really high risk, high reward, and he finds a way to win. Like, I've counted this guy out time and time again, and somehow he finds a way to win in fights where I'm like, how the fuck did he do that? And Austin Vanderford is nothing special. The UFC is doing a good matchmaking PR job, as they are in a couple spots on this card. I think Brahimaj is live for one of those subs. And overall, you might want to go that route with some GPP shots because this is not a fight I really want exposure to. There are guys in the 9K range to target. I know I shit on it earlier, but Hardy's one to shit on, and so is Vanderford. And that just means 7,000. I got guys, I'm going to want to play Ateba at 9,800. You're going to need some guys who are live. And Brahimaj is one of those, even though he's low level. My point is, so is Vanderford, and he's the big favorite. Vanderford getting subbed is going to do, like, not going to surprise me at all. So I'm picking Vanderford. Brahimaj is the better GPP play, in my opinion. That being said, I think it's time to move on to our next fight, which is Punahele Soriano and Nikolay, the aforementioned Nikolay Veretennikov. Soriano minus 280. He should be insulted by that. Veretennikov is plus 240. Fight ends inside the distance. All right, we've shit on 2 fights in a row. I think everybody's ears need to perk up a little bit here because this fight is minus 230. There are, even though we just shit on the first 2 fights of this card, there are quite a few fights, especially as we move on through the night, that are more and more likely to end inside the distance. There are quite a few good GPP spots on the card. I will say, and I preface that because I think in the fights I ranked, making sure here, I kind of took all that into consideration. I gave out 2 5-star ratings, and this was one of them. I really like this fight for GPPs. There's another spot where the number I disagree with, and we'll get there in a second. But don't let this fight. This is that early fight that you may need, and if you don't, you're going to be knowing you're dead, even if some of the other guys are scoring. This is a high variance fight, but it smells like points to me. We got the under 1.5 rounds is plus 130. I think there's a little bit of value there, quite honestly. But the numbers still say we should see a finish here, and should be good for DraftKings. Let me wrap up the intro here. The DraftKings salaries for this one, Soriano's 8,800, so he's under the 9K mark, and Veretennikov is 7,400. Monk, is Nikolay Veretennikov going to make us all look stupid?
I sure hope not, because I'm gonna have a metric ton of Puna Soriano here. Yeah. I've always kind of liked him. He did have a little bit of a rough run there right after the Todorovic fight, losing to Allen. Nick Maximov, not great. Kopylov, no shame there. And then Dustin Stoltzfus, who a lot of people will probably shit on, but I don't think that's a terrible loss. I think Stoltzfus is just a little bit better than most of us kind of think of him as. But he did get subbed there. Stoltzfus is pretty fantastic on the ground. Ask Lil Ruzi Vert, Ruzaboyev. So yeah, I just like Soriano here. Veretennikov has been finished a couple of times. Looks like twice by KO TKO in his career. Once in the UFC, and obviously that was the Austin Vanderford fight. Soriano hits like a fucking truck. He's got a ton of good volume for the most part. I think his lowest was against Maximov at 3 strikes per minute. Other than that, he's been looking really good. And then out of nowhere against Miguel Baeza, 5 of 6 takedowns in 11 minutes of control time. Did his own Maximov impression there. And he could pull that out if he needs to here. We've seen Veretennikov get taken down, like I said, by Vanderford. Looks like 2 of 4 times, controlled for most of the fight, 7.5 of 9 minutes. And yeah, Soriano just hits like a truck, man. Veretennikov has terrible defense. And like you said, he's pretty much a mailman. So 1-3 in the UFC/DWCS. So I love Puna here. 8,800, I think, is actually a fantastic salary. I'm going to be looking to get him in my lineups, which could be difficult since I'd like to play Gautier and Merab, of course. So
you love what now? You love Puna?
Yeah, what? I want some Puna in my lineup. So it might be difficult to get there, but we shall see. And in Veretennikov's defense, he's losing to Michael Morales. Danny Barlow's not the best loss, but it's not the worst. Vanderford, same thing, and then Prado. So I don't know. I just think Puna's probably better than most of those guys except Morales. So let's hope he wrapped his game up nicely and rounded it out a bit. It seems to be doing that with each and every fight since the big losing streaks there, losing 4 of 5. So give me Soriano to get it done at $8,800.
Yeah, I love Puna as well. Yes, I meant that exactly how it sounded. Look, he lost to those guys who could get takedowns, and that makes this fight very binary because I think it's the same as most Soriano fights. Either he's going to knock Veretennikov the fuck out because he throws much harder than Austin Austin Van Zandt. Or Veretennikov is going to have made improvements or just in general can get takedowns. And then Puna, I still believe him to be lost on the ground if it gets down there. And even a grappling-based decision, even if Veretennikov can't finish him down there, 7,400, he'll likely make the optimal with a grappling-based game plan. So both guys, in their path to victory, in my mind, have a big potential to break the slate. That means I want a ton of this in my DraftKings GPP lineups. It's not a cash game lineup. The cash game lineup is very clear to me, or build style is very clear, and I don't think Soriano fits into it. Maybe as a last man in, but I don't think you need it. Again, make sure you check out that episode or that video on my YouTube channel on Thursday night. I should post that. So keep being on the lookout. Whereas this fight, Soriano I'm definitely going to be way overexposed to him. I'm still going to try and get a little bit over on Veretennikov just in case. I want some leverage there. But Soriano is the first really kind of asterisk play, I think, for us on this slate. All right, let's move on to Patchy Mix and Jakub Wiklacz. I hope that's how you say his name. Mix is minus 275. Jakub Wiklacz is plus 235. Sounds like a warlock name. Fight goes a distance and ends at a distance minus 120, so pretty much 50-50 to see the cards in this one. Your DraftKings salaries, Patchy Mix is 9,000. Wiklacz is 7,200. I'm going to be really honest again, Monk. I said it earlier. Another really clever piece of matchmaking from the UFC as they look to get their high-priced former free agent Patchy Mix a win against a UFC debutant who has an impressive-looking record from outside the UFC. How do you have this fight?
Yeah, two grapplers here. I mean, Jakub, Wiklacz, however you said it.
See? It's fucking weird to say. It feels weird.
It's fun. He's got no KO TKO wins. He's got 10 submissions. He has been finished via punches twice in his career. But he's got a decent record. I mean, he's got 21 fights overall, so he's no joke. He fought in KSW for quite a while. I think he was a champion, defended it 3 times, I believe. 3 times might have been against the same fucking guy, but that's beside the point. He's fighting guys with winning records. I think you got to go to his second or third fight, professional fight ever, to find a guy with a losing record on his resume. So we do like to see that. 2 grapplers here. Look, Patchy Mix is probably going to win, but you know what? Deep down, guys, I'm a fucking hater. I am a hater, and I'm still sick of people saying that Patchy Mix was the best bantamweight on the planet. That really, really bothers me. So it shouldn't, but it does. So I am going to pick Jakub Wiklacz to get the win here. It's probably not hater. I need a dog too. I have like 2 dogs on this whole card. It's pretty bad. So I am a hater, and it's a total hater pick. Patchy Mix is probably going to win. If he doesn't, then he's going to have a lot of questions to answer. But his defense, I mean, looks terrible. He absorbed 12 strikes a minute from Batista, who is a striker. But I assume Wiklacz can't strike very well because he is a grappler. But who knows? If he can punch it all, he's got a chance. And I didn't hear what the GTD was, but I'm sure it is line to go 50, to decision. And if that's the case, then he's got as good a chance as any. I don't think he's going to get subbed. Again, KSW is a very good promotion. It's it's probably not quite Bellator, even though I shit on Bellator. It could be, though, but it's not quite the UFC, so who knows? Anything could happen. But I need some dogs here, and I'm going to take a chance and bet against – I'm not betting against Patchy Mix, but I will pick against him because, again, I am a huge hater. So, should be a grappling match. Maybe a lot of points aren't going to be scored here, especially if we don't get a decision. Or if we do get a decision, even if we don't, there's probably not going to be a ton of points to go around. So give me the underdog here. But Patchy Mix probably going to win.
I mean, it's funny because the one dog I picked one dog on this card, a couple live ones, but I outright only picked one. And I'm also a giant hater of the guy I picked against.
I think I know what you're talking about, and we're going to agree there.
So, but there are some other GPP spots to talk about. I don't like this fight for DraftKings at all. When is what are we all going to admit that the best free agent pickup that the UFC has made was not Mix or Pitbull or the other Pitbull, but it was Rainier de Ritter. Like when are we gonna?
Yeah.
When are we gonna let that? I mean, we're gonna talk about that soon.
Wasn't Aaron
he's
Pico
main coming up? Not Aaron Pico. Well, Aaron Pico's got a shot. I think Laurel Murphy was just underrated. I think Pico could get there, but that was a bad matchup. Anyway, in terms of this fight, Mix and Wiklacz for this card, how do you really invest in Patchy Mix here? The only answer is that, well, I don't want to pay 200 more from Austin Vanderford. I don't want to pay 500 more for Farid Basharat. I don't want to pay 600 more for Veronica Hardy. I'll probably end up field weight, even though I don't like the spot, because it's still a better spot for him versus any of those others I just outlined. I do think he wins. I think he's going to outclass Wiklacz where Wiklacz is best. I'm just unsure about the scoring, but not to the point, like I'm ranking him a bit above all the ones I just listed. Wiklacz, I'll take a few shots in GPPs. This is one, every once in a while, every card, there's one or two fights you kind of just go, I'll probably just be field weight on it. And this is, for me, this is one that screams that. It's, don't love the spot. There are worse in the card that I'm willing to bump down, and others I want to bump up. And I'll just kind of be vanilla on this one and not over-engineer it. But gun to my head, you still have to pick Patchy Mix in this spot. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk about Macy Chiasson and Yana Santos, formerly Yana Kunitskaya, which, by the way, if anyone was ever going to keep their name fighting, I mean, she had a great fighting name.
Yeah, for sure.
But I know she's in love and she married one of the scariest fucking dudes to ever get in the cage. Like, Maheta Santos was a fucking terror.
Oh,
if you were new to the sport, just that dude was scary. Anyway, Chiasson is minus 200. Yana Santos is plus 170. Fight goes to decision. Fight odds is really slow on me tonight. Minus 225. So that is another. Sorry, minus 225. I hesitated because that's also the over 2.5 round line. That'll get changed. Minus 225 to go to decision. Though this is one of the spots where the dog is. Not going to pick Yana, as I've kind of alluded to earlier, but I don't think there are any other. I don't think there's a reason not to play Yana Santos in cash games. Your pricing, if I can find the fucking pricing. It's gone on my sheet. What the hell happened here? Oh, there we go. Macy Chiasson is 8,600. Yana Santos is 7,600. And actually, that was it. Is the pricing is actually too high for Yana Santos. There are better spots. Overall, this is my fuck this fight of the card in terms of for DFS. I don't love it. Monk, do you see a reason to play a bunch of this fight?
No, not really. And I'm kind of, I definitely agree with what you were saying. I probably am going to pick Chiasson, but don't be surprised. I've only finished like 6 of the fights for my notes. I had a bunch of work to do today. So those will be out tonight, likely tonight, otherwise early tomorrow morning. But I don't know. I might end up picking Santos, but for now, it's going to be Chiasson. Now, I've been a Chiesa backer for a little bit. I think she's been a sneaky good play in a few of her fights. She generally scores very well when she wins. In fact, she averages like 103 points per win. You take out her high and low, it goes up to 106.5. But I was so unimpressed in that Ketlin Vieta fight. I mean, she lands 28 strikes in 15 minutes and gets 10 minutes. No, she landed less actually. Vieta landed 28 strikes. She landed 22, less than 1.5 per minute. 30 seconds of control, 0 for 4 takedowns. I was extremely unimpressed with Macy Chiasson and kind of disappointed, to be quite honest. Yana Santos, I picked her against Misha Tate. That was a very close fight. The judges gave her the win there, unanimous decision. So we will take that. But yeah, I agree. Santos probably too high priced. I'd like to see her at 73, 74 even would be a little bit easier to play. But I don't know, man. I think Santos is likely more consistent. Chiasson just seems to be hit or miss. I mean, she lands 7 strikes a minute against Silva, 1 against Pansy. It's 3, it's 2. It's really not a ton, though she has found her way on the optimal lineup in 3 of her 4 wins. And the last thing I will say is she tends to fade quickly. In the first round, she's dropping 4.5 strikes per minute. Round 2 is 3, and round 3 is 1.86. Now, she does keep the control time pretty good. The takedown's pretty good as well. But what is Santos' takedown defense? It's only 54%, so maybe she'll have some luck with that. I don't know. I'm probably going to waffle on this one before I do my notes a little bit. But for now, I'm picking Chiasson. But yeah, I agree. Santos is just a couple hundred too expensive to really jam in the cash lineup. I might be looking elsewhere, but if I need her, then I need her. I don't know. I need some dogs this week, and it's not looking great. So give me Chiasson for now.
Yeah, I'm a little bit higher on Chiasson than you are. I think. I mean, I'm lower on Santos. For me, Macy's younger. She's bigger. She's stronger. I don't think Yana's going to have success grappling here, but the volume for both is low. This is potential to be a total DFS shit show. Nobody's high volume. We kind of hit on all the key points. I probably best case scenario and field weight to Chiasson and like half the field on Santos. If Santos pops off for optimal, I didn't have a good week unless one of my few outlier lineups happened to make the optimal. But I'm on Chiasson and not much interest for me for Yana Santos. Let's go ahead and let's talk Daniel Santos and Ju Sang Yu. Santos is minus 141 favorite. Sang Yu is plus 121. Fight goes to decision is minus 145. So should see a decision, but you know, it's relatively close. This is the mid-range fight on the card, 8,300 for Santos, 7,900 for Ju Sang Yu. Monk, where are you going for this one?
Yeah, I haven't really looked into this one too much. I think I'm
So I'm doing all the heavy lifting. God damn.
Yeah,
it.
on this one probably. I'm gonna pick Daniel Santos to win. He's looked pretty good recently, getting that KO win over Castaneda, beating Johnny Munoz and then Jung Young Lee. He's only lost to Julio Arce, and that if you don't know, he was a pretty good fighter who was, I believe he's only 32 when he fought him, I guess. But yeah, I kind of like Santos here. The issue is that he eats too many strikes. It's almost 5 per minute. It's 4.96. And I know we only have one fight for Ju Sang Yu, but he landed 12.86 strikes per minute.
Okay,
it was a 30-second fight. It was
calling timeout.
Jekka
Yeah, it was. He fought an actual garbage can.
Yeah, he did.
They rolled in a dumpster on wheels, and he knocked it over, and he got it. Like, come on.
That is true. He does have 4 KO TKOs in his career. Has been a decision 4 times. So I don't know. Santos does get hit a bit too much, so just watch out for that. He's got terrible striking defense for the most part. Takedown defense is good, and all of his offensive numbers are relatively good except for leg striking. The one thing that I do notice looking at my numbers here is he absolutely pops off in round 2. So consider that if you're betting on this for some reason. Round 2 KO TKO finish from Daniel Santos. Check that number out because he lands 3.8 in the first, with a quarter of a takedown and just over a minute of control. Round 3, it's 3 strikes per minute, 1.6 takedowns, and 2 minutes of control. But in round 2, 7 strikes a minute, and this is over 20 minutes of round 2s in the UFC, over a takedown, and then almost 2 minutes of control there. So clearly round 2 is his best round. Take a look at that. And we don't have any idea what Ju Sang Yu looks like outside of the first 28 seconds. So yeah, Santos is going to be the play here. Get him in your lineups probably because we're hopefully going to see a finish here. It should be a bang out. He always, I said he gets hit with 5 a minute. He almost lands 5 a minute. So he's got power. He has been chinned. It could go either way. He dominates the control time battle, lands over a takedown per minute. So I like the numbers we're seeing here. I like the fact that he's fighting a guy that doesn't even have 10 fights. And just one fight, like you said, against a literal garbage can in Jekka Saregi. I mean, Weston Wilson beat that guy. He is a literal garbage can. So, yeah, give me Daniel Santos, hopefully in round 2.
I'm all about that. I think it is a relatively close fight, but I'm also on the side of Santos here. He's got pretty high upside in the sport, from what I can tell. He's shown power. He's got decent grappling. He's got good cardio. Clearly, he has toughness. I'm always worried when I have to describe a guy early in his career as tough because it means he's fucking getting hit, as Monk alluded to. But he seems to have it, and I don't know quite enough about Juseng Yu to feel confident really either way. I want to be high on Daniel Santos, but because I don't know the true upside of you yet, it holds me back from being like all in on Daniel Santos. But that's why I have to lean Santos. It's kind of, this is a real test for Juseng Yu, but I do like the upside of Santos. I think this is a decent fight to target in the mid-range. And really the salaries are the most appealing thing about this fight. 8,300, 7,900. It's that mid-range fight. I will be on Daniel Santos. All right, let's talk about Farid Basharat and Chris Gutierrez. Basharat is minus 450. Chris Gutierrez is plus 350. That is worth a pause. That feels really fucking wide and like a little bit of recency bias overcorrection. No, Monk, or am I way
Could
off
be.
here?
Gutierrez is pretty consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Farid is 5-0. His last fight was Victor Hugo. Then he was Taylor Lapalus, Cleetson Rodriguez, Damon Blackshear's his best win, I think, in his UFC debut, and then Alan Bagoso was in Contender Series. Of those 5 fights, dude's got 1 finish. Chris Gutierrez, on the other hand, yeah, he's actually won his last 2 fights. Granted, the Castaneda fight, I think Castaneda is a little underrated, but fine. His losses, though, were to Song Yadong and Pedro Munoz. Cody Durden back in the day was a draw, and Ione Barcelos in 2018. I don't know. Plus 350 just doesn't feel right to me. Sure, we could favor Basharat, and hint, I am still going to pick him, but this is wide, real wide. All right, more on that in a second, but that was worth noticing off the top for me. Minus 250, fight goes to decision. So something we have said a few times about the prelims already. It is the thing to note is that instantly at that number, your favorite takes a nosedive. Your underdog gets a bump in DFS value. And Chris Gutierrez is fucking 6,700. Okay. Cool. That is, he instantly becomes, I think, in consideration of, look, I'm just going to give you some cash game insight here. Gutierrez 6,700, Emmett 6,800, Sandhagen is 6,900. You're going to put 2 of them in your lineup and then play favorites. It's not a complex cash game build this week. All those guys are live underdogs with massive odds with the fight to go to decision. It's that simple. In terms of the fight breakdown, well, let's talk about that now. Monk, who you got?
I've got Basharat. I cannot stand Chris Gutierrez. I seriously can't stand him.
That's different. I hate some of these motherfuckers.
Even at 6,700, he might not 10x. His average per decision win is 66.79. It's 20% below the fucking UFC average. He's made the optimal lineup exactly twice. One was against Danaa Batgary in one of his own 2 finishes in his last 10 fights. The other finish was Frankie Edgar, who was 41 years old. And the other one was against Kang Lee, and it's because he got that on a short notice replacement. He was 7,000 and Quang Lee was 67. So that's how he made the optimal lineup there. 66. He might not even 10x at the second lowest salary on the card. Now, that said, it could still put him optimal if he gets the win here, but yeah, I cannot stand this dude. I hate how he fights. People are always, oh, Merab is so boring. No, Chris Gutierrez is fucking boring. He does nothing. He stands and he just throws leg kicks. He has lost twice. One was to Pedro Munoz, and the way he lost that was he got outkicked by Pedro Munoz. That's exactly what happened. And then Song Yadong, the striker, landed 2 of 3 takedowns, controlled him for 11 minutes. Now, let me just see how many takedowns Farid Basharat has. 4 of 7, 5 of 16, 2 of 5, 3 of 6, 3 of 4. Yeah, Basharat's going to take this dude down immediately several times and just grind this dude out on the ground here. So I like Basharat. I hate this fight for DFS. I can't stand Chris Gutierrez. Basharat likely going to be 6-0 after this, as long as he lands a couple takedowns. And yeah, I don't have much else to say about this one. I mean, Gutierrez is probably the most one-dimensional fighter on the fucking card. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I get it, but this is a big step up for Farid Basharat. He needs those takedowns. He probably gets them. But if he doesn't, because it's a step up, are you really going to be surprised if Gutierrez stops them, leg kicks him, gets a win? And on a card We got not many underdogs we were jumping at to play here. At this price, I think any win was going to put him firmly in contention for the optimal, just like you mentioned. That being said, I think the more likely outcome is a Farid win where neither hits the optimal. Am I so low on him that I'm higher on him than I am on Austin Vanderford, than I am on Veronica Hardy? Because he could get rinse and repeat takedowns as well. I think that is in the range of outcomes here. So not loving it. I promise we've said that. I know we said that a lot. There are some fights we are going to want to slam in a lot of. And usually I'm having to talk people off of jamming in all the main card stuff and play a bunch of the early fights because their points are, don't forget the points are there. I think this week you're going to want to have a lot of fights left over heading into the main card. I think the points seem to be piled up on the main card. And I can tell you what I think about this fight that I've already veered away to talk about that. Give me Farid Basharat, and let me try and get back on track here. I didn't queue up the next fight. Give me 1 second. Sleep at the job here, the wheel here. All right. I mentioned we needed fights to load up on. I present to you Edmen Shahbazyan and Andre Muniz. More importantly, I present to you Edmen Shahbazyan. I don't know if Monk's going to shit on me, and it'll be interesting because he's got a ton of stats, and early in his, he went through an early in his career kind of shit show because he was pushed too fast, and he's in a bit of a career resurgence. He's minus 300 against Muniz. Muniz is plus 250. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 400. That is a very, very large number that you need to pay massive attention to. Straight prices, Shahbazyan is 9,100. Muniz is 7,100. Put it to you this way, in what should be a high volatility fight at minus 400, I'm considering playing Edmen Shahbazyan in cash games. In fact, I think I'm going to. Like, in my head, the build I've made has got Shahbazyan in it. More about that in a second. Monk, who do you have for this fight?
Probably Edmen Shahbazyan. Now these guys have 8 UFC losses between them. They have been TKO'd 5 times total, so they love getting knocked out. First of all, Muniz or Shahbazyan's probably not gonna have to worry about that. Muniz is basically a one-dimensional grappler, doesn't have any striking, lands 2 strikes a minute. All those numbers as far as that goes are dog shit. Shahbazyan gets hit too much, but again, probably shouldn't have to worry about that a ton. But look who he's losing to. Gerald Meerschaert, grappler. Fluffy Hernandez, grappler. Nasruddin Imavov can definitely be a grappler, though he's probably classified as a striker.
He was not in that fight.
But yeah, then that's exactly what Andre Muniz is. So there are chances for Muniz to pull something off. But his offense is terrible outside of takedowns, which he could exploit against Shahbazyan, who has a 66% takedown defense. Allows 0.8 per 5 minutes and gets out-controlled 55-45. So Muniz does have a chance here. Like you said, extremely high volatility, but Edmen Shahbazyan should be able to get it done, although he couldn't finish Andre Petroski, which is now a questionable thing because that dude gets finished constantly. He beats Dylan Budka, AJ Dobson, Lungi and Bulia, a bunch of just for the most part. I mean, he did KO Brad Tavares back in 2019, which I do find impressive. That dude is very hard to finish, extremely durable for the most part. And Muniz is losing to, okay fighters, Alice Garov, Paul Craig, Brendan Allen, a little bit better than okay. It's got some great wins in the past for sure. And he beat Iron Turtle back in 2023 via split decision, which looking at the numbers was not that close. But I got to pick Shahbazyan. I don't trust Muniz, but definitely a high volatility fight. Get both sides in your lineups. I don't know if I could do Shahbazyan in cash, but I think that's probably an okay play, and that's who I'm going to pick this week.
Yeah, I also, I'm going to play him in cash, it's going to help with the overweight in GPPs. This fight is also minus 130 to end under 1.5 rounds. It smells like points. Muniz does not look good to me. He's lost 3 of his last 4. I don't see him turning it around. I like it in GPPs. I am higher on Shahbazyan. Remember, he was super young. Let me go over here and look real quick.
Well, he's still only 27. He's got 14 UFC fights.
Exactly. That's why some of those you go, wait a second, what exactly were some of the circumstances?
Well, and who his coach was.
Right. So I'm gonna let that go for now. But yeah, I this one feels like points, and up in that range, I'm gonna have to jam in favorites. Because that's just, I think, the optimal build. You got Merab. Who else is around Shahbazyan in this range, right? I got Merab. Well, clearly Merab's better there. Vanderford?
Mm-hmm.
No. Patchy mix? No. Magomedov Ankalaev? Yeah. And then you get to like Punahele, Soriano, Joe Pyfer, Farid,
Yeah, the mid range
Basharat.
does not exist this week.
So yeah, that's exactly the issue here. Is, and of those guys, I feel the best about Shahbazyan. So give me Edmen Shahbazyan here. I will still make an effort to get overweight on Andre Muniz in cash games. Let's talk about Joe Pyfer. It's main card time. Beat Joe Pyfer. He's fighting Abus. What is an Abus? That needs to be his new nickname. I know it's very insulting to him, but it makes me laugh. Abus Magomedov. There are 2 Magomedovs and 2 Santoses on this card. Loading the domination station, the TFS Army is going to suck for text this week.
Make sure you click the right ones.
Yeah. Well, we'll have them labeled, but that's going to be annoying just to load in. Pyfer's minus 250. Magomedov is plus 210. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 220. More about that in a second. DraftKings salaries here. Joe Pyfer's 8,700. Abus Magomedov is 7,500. You know what? I'm going to try not to get ahead of myself and I'm supposed to let Monk go first. And people will jokingly give me shit in Discord. I'm not going to try not to step all over this one. Monk, before I give my take, who do you have?
I think we're on the same side here. I am picking I'm not a car, I'm a bus, Magomedov. That's his secondary nickname. I like that one too. He beats Michel Pajeda, who
wait. I know I was going to try and step on you, but this won't be fight related. Can you imagine Bruce Buffer? A boost. I'm not a car, Magomedov.
That would be amazing.
He's so good.
Oh, so good. But yeah, he beats Michel Pajeda, who's been on kind of a downturn at that point in his career. Bruno Pajeda, he beats via submission. So he can kind of avoid the big shots occasionally from decent strikers, even though he has been KO'd, looks like one time in the UFC. I believe that was against Sean Strickland, former champ. And his only other loss in the UFC is Kyle Bahayo, who was one fight away from a belt. Or fighting for a belt, I should say. Pyfer losing to, Stoltzfus in the DWCS. Then he beats a couple of meh people plus Gerald Meerschaert. Loses to Jack Hermanson, which was fantastic. And then gets a couple of wins over Barrio and Gastelum. I don't know, man. I just got to go with Abus Magomedov. What was the salary here for Pyfer's 8,700? I just don't like that. I mean, yeah, he could of course catch Magomedov with a shot. He only lands, not even 4 strikes a minute at a 43% accuracy, does Pyfer, so not that great. He's got almost half a takedown per 5 minutes at 62%. Okay, I wasn't sure if my internet just shut off. I got the little black screen circle there.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was me. So there's a long pause there, guys, and
yeah, either way, I'm just probably shitting on Joe Pyfer. But in his defense, he does have, and no pun intended, does have a pretty good defensive numbers overall. The leg striking is pretty low, but Abus doesn't really do a ton of that. The distance striking is pretty low. Abus is about average there. So Magomedov gets hit more than he lands. Don't like that whatsoever. I don't know, man. I think this is kind of a high volatility fight. I'm not interested at all for cash, but I am going to pick Magomedov straight up to get the win over body bags Joe Pyfer. So yeah, I mean, he beats Gastelum, Barrio. Those are decent wins, but Gastelum's getting a little slow. Definitely older than 33 years in fight age. So this is going to be an interesting test. If Pyfer can't get it done in the first round, that would make me happy because I think Magomedov's got a much better shot as the fight goes on. So risky pick, probably one of my only other underdogs on the card, but give me Abus Magomedov to get it done here.
Yeah, I'm also going to gamble on, and with the pick being Abus here, I also don't like minus 220 for the fight to go to decision.
No.
See, I move, my whole camera gets jacked up. Sorry with the camera if there's any camera shenanigans this week, guys. Look, minus 220 to end inside the distance does not feel great to me. I think that's a little bit too high. I think it's more likely to see a decision. Neither guy is super high volume. Yeah, I know they're on the larger side and they both have decent power, but not a high volume. I just, there's all kinds of potential for this to suck for scoring. I think people are going to be overweight. My hot take is I think I'm going to be underweight to Joe Pyfer. I don't think I can get underweight to Abus because I am going to pick him straight out because I do think Joe Pyfer is a bit overrated and Abus is a little bit underrated.
Yep.
I think Pyfer is a bit overvalued and overhyped. And it kind of is that simple. I wanted to be, sorry, my camera's really freaking out. I'm going to go zoom out before I get some YouTube hate comments here. I wanted to be underweight to both guys, but because Abus is the one guy I'm going to pick straight up, I doubt I actually end up there. So give me Abus Magomedov. I don't like the ITD line. I'm also probably going to take a stand and be under on Joe Pyfer and just play more Puna and Ankalaev instead of Joe Pyfer.
Yep.
While I was doing my camera, of course, I didn't switch it over. All right, now we got Josh Emmett and Youssef Zalal. Zalal is a minus 500 favorite. The comeback on Josh Emmett is plus 375. Fight goes to decision is minus 225. And your DraftKings salaries are Zalal is 9,400. Josh Emmett is 6,800. It's going to come down to Josh Emmett and Chris Gutierrez, I think, for that cash game spot. Personally, hint, hint, I lean towards Josh Emmett right now. Monk, who you got for this fight?
Yeah, it's probably not the worst idea when it comes to like cash, especially if you're trying to get Gautier and all those guys we've been talking about this whole time in your lineups. But I kind of want to pick Zalal straight up. I still think he found some potion that made him super good all of a sudden. So we're still going to roll with that. I mean, he losing to Topuria is one thing, but then Sung Woo Choi and then Sean Woodson, not the greatest losses. I mean, Woodson's okay, but drawing against Blackshear, then it's just Billy Q, Aarons, Jack Shore, and most importantly, Calvin Cater. That was a very good win. He doubled up Cater's striking. Went 0 for 8 on takedowns, but he is consistently attempting takedowns here. And Josh Emmett, really, I mean, Ilya took him down 3 times, but that's kind of about it. Ige took him down once, and that's not saying much. Ige's not a great wrestler. So the bottom line is both guys scored terribly, but somehow Zalal has found his way onto the optimal lineup in 3 of his 4 wins. And 2 of Josh Emmett's 3 winning opponents have found their way optimal as well. Lerone Murphy is really the only time Josh Emmett is, attempting and landing takedowns in his last 10. I know he attempted 4 against Yair, but Murphy was kind of piecing him up on the feet, and I think that's why we see 11 takedown attempts out of nowhere from Josh Emmett. Long story short, if he doesn't land that huge shot that he killed Bryce Mitchell with, I don't see how he's going to do anything against Law. I don't see how he's going to score well. He needs that round 1 finish to do any kind of damage on DFS. So I think Zalal's quick enough. I think he's athletic enough. He's also 11 years younger. Not that necessarily means anything, but he's still got probably more pep in his step, we'll just say, than Josh Emmett does. We all know what Emmett's going to do. I hope Zalal does as well. His defense is fantastic, especially the striking defense, allowing far under 2 strikes per minute. And Josh Emmett gets outstruck 3.75 to 4.46. So if he does not land that huge haymaker to get it done, especially early on, I mean, I guess we don't need it early on since he's 7,100 or something crazy like that. I know you just said, no, he's 6,800, even better.
Yeah.
So he probably doesn't need it in the first round. He probably just needs a win. So I'm probably going to be rostering him, definitely in GPPs, of course, but maybe I might need him for cash. I'm not really sure yet. I need to take a look. Either way, Zalal, I'm picking him to win. I don't really like him for DraftKings. 86.7 per win. That is terrible. 77 points per decision win, which is 8% under the featherweight average. That's not going to pay off, 9,400. It's not even going to be close. So give me Zalal, but I hate him for DFS. And Josh Emmett's not really getting knocked out. It's happened once in the UFC. I don't even know who that would have been.
And it was bullshit. It was Jeremy Stevens, and it was the elbows to the back of the head.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know, man. Zalal's just been pretty impressive overall. He's got a decent strength of schedule. Emmett's is obviously better, but man, I know Cater's not looked like himself lately, and I don't know if that's an age thing. He was 36 years old in February when this fight happened against Zalal, but I really think that's a good win. So give me Zalal. Hate him for DraftKings. Might end up needing Josh Emmett for cash, and just hoping he gets either the haymaker or just gets a decision.
You know, Josh Emmett, people forget, is a decent grappler. Like, he's not a bad wrestler. He took down Lerone Murphy 4 times. Why are we forgetting this? Like, he went all 5 rounds with Ilia Topuria. Who the fuck is going all 5 rounds with Ilia Topuria?
That's
nobody.
True.
Like, and you know, he took down Yair Rodriguez. I don't know. I think he's getting. I came super close to picking Josh Emmett, and he's a giant dog. So minus 225 to go to decision. And I almost picked him as a dog. He's almost certainly going to be in my cash lineups because I couldn't quite pick him because I do agree that Zalal does a really good job at maintaining space, and Emmett is kind of that bull rushing in typically. This is another step up for Zalal. They're kind of building him right. And I do think he clearly has improved immensely. And I think he probably wins and is a little better at this stage in their careers. But this is a spot similar to the Farid and Gutierrez line where I don't get the line. And I think I'm more egregious this one a little bit. But I kind of understand because of how good Zalal has looked. It's kind of that weird back and forth. Zalal could just hold Emmett against the cage. I think he's probably better in the clinch.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can maintain space. I think Emmett's got the haymaker, and I think people are sleeping a little bit on the wrestling, but I'm not sure it's a big enough weapon here in this fight. 6,800 is the real key driver here. I like Josh Emmett for that reason, but I'm going to have to pick Youssef Zalal. But this is one where I messaged all of our members, and we said it a few times, and we pointed out a couple times in this podcast. If you're just reading fight prediction, who's going to win the fight, you're not using notes or predictions right for DFS because it goes way deeper. Where are the mismatches? Where are the high potential fights? Where do we disagree in the line, even if we can't get to an overall winner? This is one of those categories. This fits in that last one pretty nicely. I am going to take Zalal, but Josh Emmett, one of my favorite dog plays on the card. In fact, if you take my kill shot, that's probably where I'm going to go. Let's go Khalil Roundtree and Jiří Procházka. This one, I am super looking forward to this fucking fight. I really am looking forward to this. Granted, I've been on the Khalil bandwagon since he was soccer kicking dudes on the Contender Series, and I've had to wade through some hard times. I get it. Not a world beater. Goes back and forth. Sometimes he looks good. Sometimes he looks bad. He goes to Thailand. It's a little bit unpredictable. But I enjoy watching the guy fight. Ever since I saw him soccer kicking that motherfucker.
Yeah, gotta love that.
Dude, he is violent. He is fun. I think he's a smart dude. Clearly, he's one of the guys in the sport I am a fan of. That being said, he is deservedly an underdog here to Jiří Procházka, who's minus 170, minus 180-ish. Come back on Khalil Roundtree's about plus 150. Fight ends inside the distance is minus 285. It's about 50-50 to go under 1.5 rounds here. Under over 1.5 rounds was 50-50-ish. And your DraftKings salaries, Jiří Procházka is 8,500. Khalil Roundtree is 7,700. This is the mid-range fight to load up on with some high variance and big scores projected. Monk, who you got?
Yeah, I completely agree there. This is the one you have to load up on. I like Jiří Procházka for this one. I mean, he does have 2 losses in his last 4, but those are both to Alex Pereira, and Roundtree has 1 loss in his last 7 to Alex Pereira. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think Jiří is probably better offensively striking. I mean, his numbers are crazy. He's towards the top in basically every category. Khalil Roundtree overall is very good, but he does get outstruck by about half a strike per minute on average. His striking accuracy is 40%. His striking defense is under 50. It's just not great. More importantly, he gets controlled 15% to 85%, 58% takedown defense. I know Procházka's not out here landing a ton of takedowns, but if he does, he gets the control time. He is winning that battle. His defense, as far as striking, is dog shit. He lands 5.7 and he absorbs 5.7. It is real bad. So while Roundtree's is pretty bad, Prohashka's is a little bit worse. And that's why you have to load up on this one as far as GPP lineups go. I completely agree there. But Yuri, I mean, it's not even a contest. 4.31 strikes in the first to 3.4 from Roundtree. Then it jumps 71% to 7.3 and Roundtree's under 4. And then it jumps to 10.7 in the third round, which he's only had 8 minutes of round threes, if that tells you anything. And Roundtree's goes down to about 3.7. So obviously one guy is much more active on the feet than the other, but both hit hard as hell. In fact, Roundtree probably or definitely has more knockdowns per significant strike than Yuri Prohashka does. I'm still picking Prohashka. I think he's got a little bit, like I said, I already used this one's with the Zalal fight, but I think he's a little more athletic, a little more able to get out of the way of certain things than Roundtree is, who does have 16 fights in the UFC at 35 years old. Prohashka's, not young, but only, not old, I should say, but not young. He's only 32. I just like Prohashka here. This is a no defense fight, so load up in GPPs. I don't even know if I'd play Yuri in cash. I'm definitely not playing Roundtree. No. I think this is a little bit too volatile for that. So yeah, strictly a GPP fight here, but get both sides. I am on the side of the favorite, probably to win inside the distance here.
Yeah, I definitely think it's too volatile for cash games. I am on the side of, sadly, Yuri Prohashka is where I'm going to pick, but I don't think this, to me, is a 50-50 fight. I would have said before the Pereira fight that Yuri is more willing to walk through damage. Holy fuck, both these guys are tough, and I don't think they're right in the head because Roundtree ate so much damage and was right there. I don't think this is a slam dunk to be a all-in fight because if the finish doesn't materialize in the first round, if it comes early in the second or even in the third, I'm worried about the volume for significant strikes. I'm still going to be overweight to both guys. I'm just saying don't go like 50-50 all in, 60-40 all in. Like be overweight, but it's not a guarantee. I think there's a couple fights where I'd be stunned if the Merab fight doesn't end up in the optimal. Things like that. I don't think Roundtree's getting enough credit because he lost his last fight, right? The last fight was the no, it was the Jamal Hill fight.
Won.
No.
Yeah.
We had Jamal Hill. They both fought Jamal Hill last. It's gonna be a rough highlight reel pay-per-view for Jamal Hill, probably. Look, I still think Yuri's a little bit more dynamic and willing, that spinning back elbow against Dominic Reyes, a little bit more willing to eat damage, walk through damage, and if this gets drug into deep waters, like who's tougher, you saw it against Glover Teixeira, like Yuri's just, I think, a little bit more built for that type of fight. That being said, Khalil hits hard as fuck and may not give him a choice. Like he hits harder than Glover and Jamal. Like there is dynamite in that guy's hands. And I just think Khalil is live. I want to be over on both guys. And while clearly I have to pull back my fandom a little bit, I think I have to slightly edge towards Yuri, but don't get caught with your pants down on Khalil. And thank God I didn't use that expression in a women's fight. All right, let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. Corey Sandhagen, Merab Dvalishvili for the UFC Bantamweight Championship of the World. Dvalishvili is minus 400. Sandhagen is plus 300. Fight goes to decision is some giant-ass number, I assume, minus 325. Stack is viable here. Sandhagen, one of those dogs in cash games that is viable. The prices here, Dvalishvili is 9,300. Sandhagen is 6,900. Merab is everyone's DFS darling, the darling of the MMA world right now. The question is, does Corey Sandhagen have the skills to upset the apple cart? Monk, what you got?
No, he does not. Merab is the GOAT of all GOATs. You can't convince me otherwise, so don't even try. And I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to anyone who would try. Corey Sandhagen, Figgy took him down twice. Umar, 5 of 13. Font, 1 of 2. And Font can't wrestle. Cheeto even attempted one, didn't land it. Song Yadong, again, striker, 2 of 2. TJ took him down while he was hurt. I mean, this dude gets taken down constantly. He's got like a 63% takedown defense, and now he's fighting Merab Dvalishvili, and we all know he never stops. He's a takedown machine, DFS points machine, and his striking is getting better. It's very consistent. I mean, it's extremely consistent, actually. 4.2 in the first, 4.19 in the second, 4.18 in the third. Then it jumps to 6.3 and then back to 4.07 in the fifth round. So I am, of course, loving what I see from Merab. He averages about 2 takedowns per round, over 2 minutes of control time per round. Like, that doesn't leave a lot of room for anybody to do much with at all. I don't think Sandhagen is going to leg lock Dvalishvili. At least I hope not. I will probably cry if that happens. And that's okay. But yeah, he's obviously the better striker for the most part, is Sandhagen. But again, Merab getting a little better, and his defensive striking is fantastic. 56% overall. He allows less than 2.5 per minute. So I think there's just a huge mismatch here in the grappling department, as there usually is from Merab. But I do really like Corey Sandhagen. I actually really like him a lot. I like this fight. I'm glad he should get his chance. Absolutely. I mean, he's lost to Umar, Peter Yan, and TJ Dillashaw, and then Aljo in his last 10. So obviously he's 6-4 in his last 10. He's losing to fucking champions. So I don't understand the issue with that at all. Those are not bad losses. Last thing I'll say, Merab, as I said, DFS darling, and you said it as well, averages 124. Take out his high and his low, and he's averaging 125. He's made optimal in 7 of 8 wins. The only one he didn't was against Jose Aldo, for obvious reasons. And then Corey Sandhagen, more importantly, 5 times optimal in 5 wins. His opponents 3 times optimal in 3 losses. That's 8 for 8. Someone's optimal in Sandhagen fights since 2021. Get this fight all in your line. Play 101% of it if you can. But I'm squarely on the side of Merab. I mean, you said stack, I get it, but at the same time, if Sandhagen is just on his back the whole time, that's not going to pay off. But I do understand the sentiment, and it definitely could pay off, but I'm squarely on the Merab Dvalishvili side. He's just probably the best DraftKings scorer of all time and one of the best fighters of all time.
Look, I mean, it's pretty obvious that the takedowns are going to rack up big scores. They just are. I think that Merab's going to get them like he always does. Sandhagen, you could land those strikes in the bottom, keep at range a little bit. Maybe he scores okay. Those inside the distance numbers for that price, it's just typically worth it. You have to weigh is, okay, do you want to play both Emmett or Gutierrez or Sandhagen? Like, those are your cash game options this week for punts. They just, any other build, I think you're gambling too much and you're just make the bet. I think that's the optimal build. But in terms of how much of this fight to play, wrong button. In terms of how much of this fight to play, I'm going to be playing all of it. I agree. I'm just going to slam it into my lineups. I think Merab wins. I want to be overweight, and he's going to be chalk. How much is that going to take? Well, I'll use the DFS Army tools and find out. Link down in the description on YouTube to sign up at DFS Army. Make sure you go do that, because the ownership tool, I think, is one of the most unheralded tools out there. When you're playing DFS GPPs, it's all about ownership and where you're going to get leverage and what spots you're going to avoid versus the field. I'm talking about that because I think the fight breakdown is pretty simple. Has Corey improved his takedown defense enough to stop Merab, or will he catch Merab coming in, or maybe land a guillotine like Ricky Simon? I mean, we saw that, but I think those are all low percentage outcomes, and more often than not, Merab smashes, and that's just where I'm going to have to go with this one. So give me Merab Dvalishvili. But great fight to target overall. Main event time, boys and girls. Here we go. It is Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. Ankalaev is now minus 270. My, how the tables have turned since their first fucking fight.
Mm-hmm.
My, oh my. Pereira is plus 230. Fight, I believe, ends inside the distance. Yeah, is minus 140, about 50-50, which is weird because it's 2 big men who are dangerous strikers at light heavyweight and a main event, and we got minus 140. Feels a little bit weird. Ankalaev is 8,900. Pereira is 7,300. Solid prices for the main event. Monk, where you going?
Yeah, I don't remember who you picked last time, but I thought I was one of the only people that I even know that picked Ankalaev to get the win. So I was
No,
extremely
he was. I believe I picked Pereira, but Ankalaev was pretty popular that week.
well, that is good because he got it done there at a -104 underdog. I got to go with the same thing. I'm taking Ankalaev again. I'm not sure that. I don't know how much. I don't know, man. I think Pereira eventually moves up to heavyweight. I don't know
Agreed,
if that
100%,
happens. If he loses here, I mean, I'm not saying he
100%.
wants. Yeah, I'm
If
not
he
saying
loses,
he
then what
wants
is he
to
going to
lose.
do?
Yeah, exactly. He can't just keep fighting Magomed Ankalaev. So I'm not saying he
We're
wants to
we're
lose,
gonna
but
if he loses, we're gonna get John Jones, fucking,
I kind
and
of hope
Alex
so.
Pereira at the White House. That's what
Oh,
we're gonna get.
that would be huge. Yeah, that's probably true because Dana said that there's no way Jones is fighting because he can't trust him at the White House. So obviously everything Dana says is probably a lie or backwards. So that's probably a good call. But yeah, Ankalaev is so good everywhere, offensively, defensively. I mean, he attempted 12 takedowns against Pereira, and in Pereira's defense, Ankalaev landed 0 of them. However, he still did get almost 6 minutes of control. That clinch control just definitely added up.
Yep.
He outstruck Alex Pereira 94-76. And his defense is just extremely good, allowing less than 3 strikes per minute in the first, second, and third. That drops to 1.2 in the fourth round and 1.4 in the fifth round. And that is 15 minutes of rounds 4 and rounds 5. I just think his defense overall is better. Pereira probably could be taken down, and Ankalaev is probably going to test that again because he has no ability to control any of the grappling time that he's involved in. It's not even 7%. I mean, obviously, we know what Alex can do. 5 strikes a minute, has a ton of power, especially in that left hand. All Ankalaev has to do is not get hit with that. He's got a 57% striking defense, controls 90% of the grappling time he's involved in, which, again, a lot of that is clinch time. And Alex Pereira, while he does have, he rates well as far as that category goes. If you're extremely good at that, I don't know that he's going to rate quite as well. So he's used to landing over 4 or 5 strikes a minute in each round. That is not going to happen against Ankalaev unless he knocks him down and just, ground and pound until the fight is stopped. So both guys have fought the best of the best. Both guys are deserving and have been deserving of being champions. And actually, neither guy really scores well. I didn't hear the salaries here. It's going to be, I forget, 89 and 73. So
Yeah.
that is a lot for Ankalaev, who scores 90 points per win. So definitely consider that. He once scored 58 in a win. And Pereira is not much better, 95 in a win. So, I mean, he obviously at 7,300, that would be fantastic. But don't expect, if there's not a first round finish, don't expect a very high score. Do not expect triple digits from either guy. And so for that reason, I'm picking Ankalaev, but I'm likely not going to have a bunch of him in tournaments and definitely not in cash. So I'm going to probably be looking elsewhere for that. 8,900 just does not fit into my equation here. When I want Gautier, I want Davalishvili, I probably want, somebody like not Yuri, but somebody in that mid range as well. It's a favorite. It's just not going to work for me. So yeah, give me Ankalaev to get the win. Probably, I don't know if I agree with the minus whatever you said 140 ITD line. I kind of think this goes another 25 minutes, to be quite honest. So give me Ankalaev to and still all over Alex Pereira.
That's weird. I'm gonna pick Magomed Ankalaev in a second. Spoiler alert! But don't forget how fast of a learner and what a freak athlete Alex Pereira is. In his 7th MMA fight, not UFC fight, in his 7th MMA fight, he knocked out a future world champion, and in his 8th MMA fight, he was a world champion in the UFC, not some other organization. He's going to take the information he's gotten from Ankalaev and where he got beat, and he's going to make improvements. The problem is I think Ankalaev has just got a great all-around game to kind of frustrate opponents like Pereira, and I think if Pereira answers the problems he used to have in the first fight, Ankalaev is going to present other issues. That is what makes Magomed Ankalaev so good. I do think he's better. I do think Alex Pereira ends up at heavyweight. I also agree. I don't think this is a great one for DFS. This is one, go ahead and play the co-main event more. This is not expected to go to a finish decisively early anyway. Ankalaev and Pereira, neither one is high volume. They're going to be They're the main event. They're going to get too much ownership. I'd rather be underweight to the field. Kind of that simple. Give me Ankalaev. Give me being field to underweight. I think Ankalaev's going to present too many challenges. If anything, because I need dogs, Pereira is the one I'm more willing to go overweight on. I think Ankalaev's going to get too much love here. It is risky, sure. But again, what did Ankalaev score in their last fight? In those 5 rounds?
Let me scroll down here real quick. 84.
That ain't going to get it done, boys and girls.
No.
And I would imagine Pereira's going to be better this time. Now, maybe he'll be shot and defeated and looking to go to heavyweight. And then, I'm not saying fade him. I'm saying if he's going to be 50% owned, I'm more than comfortable playing 30 to 35%. Like I'm going to be a touch under. Also, if you want to stack this fight because it's minus 140 to go ITD, and there's some other, I don't think you should do it, but there are worse takes I'm going to hear this week. So fine. Don't think you do it, but if you're going to tell me I want to double stack though, main and co-main, and then I love these mid-range fighters, I think that's the issue with that strategy is the mid-range is not safe enough.
Right.
So, and some of the value you have the bottom range. That being said, independently, it's not the worst thing I've heard. But give me Ankalaev underweight to the fight overall. Pereira, probably the better DFS play because of the salary, quite honestly. Yeah. Said it a few times.
It should be noted, Pereira would have only scored 64 points if he would have gotten that decision win.
Yeah. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We're not done yet. First, smash the like button. Now we're going to talk kill shots. Kill shot is an under-owned GPP play who can help you win a tournament. We're not talking Sandhagen. We're not talking Pereira. We're talking somebody sneaky who can help you get it done. It could be a dog. It can be a favorite if the favorite is going to be sneaky. For example, because I'm going to say this every week because people are still driving me crazy. If you're telling me if you're going to be double field on Macy Chiasson, that is a kill shot. I get to decide what a kill shot is. I know I took a little hiatus a couple of years ago. I'm back for a few years already now. But this was my idea, the kill shot. I get to tell you what the fuck it is. It's my thing.
That's true.
It is something sneaky. It can be a favorite. If you're going to tell me, listen, sniper, load up on Jusang Yu. That's a fucking kill shot. That's going to win you a GPP if you're sure that's going to end up on the optimal. That being said, Mung, now that we've thrown all that out there, who you got for a kill shot? And I think, real quick, I think I'm going to screw both of us here because as I was talking, at minus 220 for the fight to end, it's at the distance. I don't think Abus Magomedov is viable. I don't think that's fair. That doesn't fit the spirit of what we're talking about here.
That is true.
Same thing. Neither does Roundtree for that matter.
Yeah, I figured you might be looking at Magomedov, so I was trying to get different. I would honestly pick Yana Santos, but she's not going to score well enough. So I'm going to, double down on my crazy pick, my hater pick of the week. I'm just going to pick Jakub Wiklacz as a kill shot here over Patchy Mix because I don't trust Patchy Mix. Like it.
I'm going to go a little bit overhyped, too quick, too fast. Everyone's going to hate it. Everybody loves Youssef Zalal. Fucking don't forget about Josh Emmett. Give me Josh Emmett because that man, even if Zalal is great, you land one shot, you eat one wrong shot from Josh Emmett, anybody can go out. Is it low percentage? Sure. But again, if Josh Emmett's 15% owned, do you really feel bad going over 25, 30%? Like on this card, I'm good with it. That's where I'm going to go. Give me Josh Emmett.
Nice.
UFC at 320 wrapped up in a bow. 13 fights for you here. We will break down all of them. We got one more to do. Late notice replacement in the DFS Army, but there's going to be domination station projections, more cheat sheet write-ups from more coaches, more opinions, help you get all the information. The domination station optimizer, the projections, the odds, all the good stuff in there. Make sure you subscribe. Link down below. Shout out to all the members. A couple of people reached out. I missed a couple of internal stuff we did last week on a fight night card. Still tons of GPP stuff that popped off for you guys, but a couple of people reached out making sure everything was okay. I appreciate that. Just a weird week in the homestead around here. So all is good though, and I'm looking forward to sweating UFC 320 with you guys in the Discord. Make sure if you're not in there, you come do that. Monk, anything for you before we get out of here?
No, I'm really looking for, I mean, Marab fight week. What else could I ask for? But yeah, I'm looking forward to these 14 fights. I'm going to be paying attention to your building videos because we got to get some wins going on. We got to get some
More
better
optimals. There've been plenty.
performances, more optimal.
Where you been?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got to get some more though. We got it more and more and more. That's all we got to get. So I'll be looking for that. And yeah, that's about it. My notes will be up, like I said, just a reminder tonight. Usually I haven't done before the video. Busy week, but I'll have them up tonight most likely.
And guys, those notes are just for the members. By the way, we're up on Tuesdays. Everybody else later in the week, trickling in. No, and we're not always right. I'm not saying we're always right. Anybody who's going to tell you they're always right is a liar. They're a scammer. It's MMA. It is high variance. You are going to get shit wrong. It's about strategy, positioning, and all I'm saying is we're first.
True.
Take that for whatever the fuck it's worth. For Monk, I'm Sniper. And for Geek, who's off doing NFL, but I know poking around out there. Thank you guys for joining us. Hit the like button. Bigger thank you to the members. I'll see you guys in the Discord. Good luck. Helmets up. And we'll see you next time.